Welcome to Doom Scroll Patrol State of the Union special. I guess it's technically the Address to Congress special, but State of the Union sounds better. We're going to go through all the crazy shit Trump said and a couple other things we're going to throw in there and just go on some rants. It's a fun time. I had a fun time. I'm Aaron Heggie McKay.
I'm Harold Moss.
I'm Hannah Snape.
I'm Sam Perez.
Stick around. You won't want to miss it.
And now, on with the show.
We're
Time
on.
for Doom Scroll Patrol. Okay, so this whole State of the Union, not State of the Union, what's it called again? Sorry, Address to Congress.
Address to Congress
It's
because he's only been in.
It's clearly the State of the Union.
Yeah.
It's clearly that.
And the State of the Union is grim.
The State of the Union is what's the one thing you'll remember from that?
Oh, for me, it's who was it? Is it Al Green standing up and yelling? But
Grammy Award winner Al Green.
I'm a fan of all the people who would just hold up the false signs.
Well,
Those are so feckless. What are they doing?
Feckless is the word. Feckless is the word. What most stuck with me last night?
Fecht.
They needed more feck. They needed to triple down on their feck. What most stuck from me last night was Al Green standing up and actually showing some gumption, being escorted out, and all the other Democrats just staying the fuck put. And then counterpose that to Serbia, where there's an anti-corruption movement going on. And I don't know if you all saw that. Let's roll the clip.
Opposition lawmakers disrupted it by setting off flares and smoke bombs inside Parliament. Some tried to physically confront the House Speaker and government ministers, while others hurled eggs and other objects at rival lawmakers. One lawmaker reportedly suffered a stroke during that chaos. Radio Free Europe says the lawmakers were showing support for student demonstrators who have been protesting alleged corruption for months.
I'm really surprised that there's corruption in Serbia.
But the opposition in Serbia, they were throwing smoke bombs in Congress. Like we saw South Korea where they stood up and stopped the coup, physically retaking, the government buildings. In Serbia, they're doing this. Here, now imagine when Al Green stood up, had his speech, and then 2 minutes before Trump said he was bringing back free speech, was escorted out. If every Democrat just stood up and walked out with him, now it's not even politics. It's just theater. It's just drama. It's a little bit of, it's something to get people feeling like they are going to do one goddamn thing to stop this train wreck instead of just sitting there with their little false signs.
This man is 77 years old. He's standing up with his cane. Everyone else is also 77 years old or whatever. And good on him for doing that. And I totally thought, is this going to be the game? Is this going to be where they just one by one all get kicked out?
I'm Spartacusing.
Yeah. And apparently there's just one Spartacus.
Yeah. Do you think Representative Al Green said, "Hey, what's going on?"
Senator Al Green.
What's going on?
Because that's what I thought. Because I'm a fucking moron. I was like, "No way, fucking Al Green did this!" Like, hell yeah,
preach. Al.
I mean, he's still great.
He is.
Yeah, but
both Al Greens are great. I would say high marks for all Al Greens at this point.
Not a bad Al Green so far. So.
I mean, he stood up. He said, "Here I am." He's tired of being alone.
Yeah. He said, "Jesus is waiting."
Al Green is tired of being alone, and yet he was alone. He was alone.
Yeah, you ought to be with me.
Yeah.
Go on, take me to the river. So what I will always remember is there was this weird moment where this 13-year-old kid with brain cancer or whatever, and it wasn't I was just like, what is going on? They're lifting him up or whatever. And then, he wanted to be a police officer, and cool, this kid wants to be whatever. He has dreams or whatever. I'm cool with this kid. He's sad that he had brain cancer. And then he was he's made an honorary police officer by his local police department. But the thing that, Trump one-upped him is you are now, and not even an honorary, you are now an agent of the Secret Service, which means he technically has to take a bullet legally for the president. If he has the opportunity, he has to try to get in front of it legally.
Well, I mean, we've already got
13-year-old kid with brain cancer.
I mean, come on, we've
And
already
he's a
got
human
Elon
shield.
Musk. We've already got Elon Musk using his toddler as a human shield. So I think this is clearly a clear direction in the administration, which is young people as bullets, soaking up bullets.
Isn't this like that's the plot of like a Kenan Thompson movie from like the 90s where it's like
Good Burger.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, now he's a Secret Service agent. Like Sinbad is here and he's going to teach him the ropes. I don't know. Like that's when I read that, I was like, this is. I hate this place. It's so stupid.
Well, then the thing he does afterwards, he's like, well, he got brain cancer from exposure to chemicals. And I'm like, you motherfuckers are destroying the EPA. And you're like complaining about how these kids are getting brain cancer from all these chemicals because they happen to live near oil and gas refineries that you're drill baby drilling into his lungs and giving him brain cancer. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Do you think they need Secret Service members that badly?
I say, where did everyone go?
Yeah,
but anyways, it was a typical Trump parade of lies, bullshit, misinformation, blathering, meandering. I think it was the longest potentially in history.
Yeah, 99 minutes.
Yeah, the longest.
99 minutes, but the truth ain't one.
What is the truth?
So just like a quick list of it, he was like, Doge found hundreds of billions in fraud, which is
Lie.
like, isn't. There's lots of dead people over 120 years old or older getting Social Security payments.
That's a lie.
I do like there's a 300-something-year-old.
Yeah.
And that went on forever. Like I was 300 by the end of that thing. And yeah, oh my God, that's part. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, then the country brought in trillions of dollars from tariffs on China during Trump's first term, which isn't lie. And then the country has spent $350 billion on the war in the Ukraine.
That's a lie.
Which isn't true. So those are like some of the summaries.
Some of the highlights of his lies. Lighlights?
Yeah, some of the highlights.
Some of the highlights of Trump's address to Congress.
And then what I liked was what he was focusing on. So he's going to focus on more money for deportations, another round of major tax cuts, enhanced police protections, which he didn't mention, anything on January 6th or the assault on police of the U.S. Capitol on that day, some new crime bill, mandating the death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer, and then creating a Golden Dome missile defense system, which, like Israel has an Iron Dome, blah, blah, blah. So that's
going to be gold.
Golden, yes.
Yeah.
With some brown glass.
Gold is better
to
than iron.
Really hit that Trump vibe.
It's just, it's going to be like a Trump tower with fucking missiles on it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the world order that Trump is pushing us to, which is a pre-World War II major powers fighting over territory and owning their territories, the likelihood of missiles getting lobbed at the United States is much higher in the world order that Trump, silver lining, he creates chaos and the potential for World War III. He'll also create a corruption.
We're silver lining World War III right now.
We also know that the Golden Dome is just another huge grift opportunity. I mean, and so it won't really work. And the country's kind of big.
I can't wait to buy the Golden Dome commemorative plate that he's going to offer.
Right.
Like
the Golden Dome commemorative crypto coin.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. He did another pump and dump on crypto this week, right? Which is talking about a crypto reserve, which is exactly what the U.S. doesn't need, and used it to pump up a bunch of additional coins that probably he and a bunch of people made millions of dollars off of. So, I mean, I think we're going to be seeing weekly crypto schemes from our president.
I mean, he basically is asking money from Congress. He's asking for money from Congress to do more deportations. Because it turns out even now he can't just print money on his own. He can pump and dump his way into getting more money for himself, but to actually do stuff for the government, you actually need Congress, apparently.
Good evening. The Ku Klux Klan is a secret organization that has been allowed to exist in this country.
So is that essentially what they're trying to do? Is like they want to tank everything, like every branch, and then be like, look how bad it is. We got to privatize it, and like because I know
they're
Elon
already
Musk is
doing
trying
it. They're
to
already
like,
doing it.
yeah,
Musk is getting
trying
the
to do that with
rural internet
like
is going to Starlink now. He keeps getting billions in contracts. Musk just is privatizing. He is just scooping up billions in new federal contracts. So that is his thing. And I think he also wants to replace federal workers with AI. And that's why he tried to buy OpenAI. So I think there's a very real thing. And, tech bros, you kind of start to realize everyone's catching up. They're not as bright. Money concentration does not mean intelligence concentration. They really believe, religiously, a lot of them, that AI can take the place of humans. And so they want to displace, they want to own the AI, have the AI run the government, and then they run the government by owning the AI. That's, I think that's the roadmap.
Yeah, because I'm smart as hell, but I'm broke as shit, dude.
A lot of these newly rich people are just filthy bootleggers.
I think Occam's razor, it does seem to be moving towards sort of kleptocracy and everything being for the purpose of feeding like an oligarchy of just rich fucks who are kind of on a tight leash. But the Putin model requires you to have someone at the center of it who's actually kind of competent. Like, as much as fucking Putin is a piece of shit, or whatever, he knows what he's doing, and he's not a dumb motherfucker.
Although Ukraine wasn't the cleverest decision.
Sure, but I don't know if I think he he obviously underestimated a lot of things, but he's wily in terms of his ability to climb power and keep people around him in check.
Yeah, well, it's that cunning, isn't that what that is? It's cunning.
He's a real cunning. He's a real cunt.
He's a real
cunt.
He's a bit of a cunt too.
Just dripping. Yeah, he's just dripping with cunt.
He has feck, cunt.
Got it all right, Mr. Finch.
Speaking to go back to the lack of feck. I mean, I think that in addition to everyone not getting up and leaving with Al Green or as I think yours would even been better theater, one at a time, standing up and forcing them to take them out. Well, that would have been brilliant. Aaron, I know you're Canadian, but I now give you the Democratic Party to run. Please, somebody.
Oh my God. It would be so much. I could do such a better job. These people are just so stupid.
But then Senator Alyssa Slotkin's response, I think we can all say that clearly the lesson has been learned. What was the big emphasis in this last presidential election here? It was that we need to go after Republican voters and peel them away from Trump. We need to go after Republican voters. Our base can take care of itself. People who are horrified by genocide in Gaza can take care of themselves. People who are worried about income disparity can take care of themselves. We're going after them. So what does Slotkin do in the first two paragraphs? She name checks Ronald Reagan. This was the response to the State of the Union. She name checks Reagan 4 times and Bush and George Bush. Junior,
senior or junior?
Junior, because she worked for him. And this just so summarizes the lack of feck, right? Which is their strategy is still, we're going to peel away the Republicans.
I think there's this fundamental assumption that the left has gone too far left, and we have to meet people in the middle, and be the moderate, reasonable people. And they don't see how things have redshifted so far in the last 40 years. That what is to the left of you is too far right for everywhere else in the world, in the free world, like anywhere else in the world, like Canada, Europe, anywhere else, you are a Bush Republican if you are an Alyssa Slotkin. And basically things have turned in where the Democrats, and this happened in Kamala Harris's campaign, they're the conservatives now. They're the people saying, let's keep things the same. And the people who are on the right, the MAGA Republicans, they're revolutionaries. They're not conservatives. They are right wing, but they are not conservative in the strict sense. They're essentially right wing Maoists, just bring everything down and then replace it with their own cultural revolution and social engineering.
It's also called fascism, which is basically right wing Maoism, right? Yeah. And in a parliamentary system, in a sane system that hadn't locked in two parties, the Republicans would become a far right party, the Democrats would be the center right party, and there'd be room for an actual left party that would deal with the things like, how is humanity going to survive the next century, right? How do we make sure that our kids can eat? How do we not concentrate wealth in the hands of a few fucking tech losers while everyone else is trying to put food on the table, right? And we don't have that.
Oh my God. Such woke policies of feeding children and not bombing children. Jesus Christ. You right, get out of here with your awful, just no one's going to buy into that. You're alienating the suburban people who want to have children starve and bomb the shit out of them.
Yes, you're right.
Well, it's funny too, because like when I was working in homeless services, like it was interesting over the last, because I was in it for like 5-6 years. The last like 3 years, I could see people progressively getting more antagonistic to like our cause. And it was very interesting to see, because in the beginning it was like, yeah, we got to help these people. Let's donate money. But then like over the years, they'd be like, no, they need to get out of here because they're all drug dealers and rapists and like get the fuck out of our neighborhoods and stuff. So it's very interesting how much that changed. And I'm sure like even this last year, it was pretty big over social media. I don't know if you saw, like in Utah, actually, it was just right up the road from where I live.
This was in like some protests, right?
Well,
oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, there's protests there, but like over the winter, they have warming centers because up in northern Utah, it gets very, very cold. And they put a warming center in this one kind of nicer area up north. And people were just like, we don't want this warming center to keep homeless people warm. Like, get it the fuck out of here. And it's like, that never happened anytime before this. Like, every time there's been a warming center in like northern Utah, most of the time people are very supportive because like, I don't know if you know, like dead people in the streets isn't fun. Like it's not fun to find. It's not fun to see, all that shit. So like,
certainly
that's
not
why
fun to happen to you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So like,
but it would never happen to me.
Yeah, no, never to them. So, but no, it was huge pushback. I mean, it was like I said, it was all over the news. Like this, there was like a lady who was like, my kids live here, blah, blah, blah. But there's just been this like increasing I'm trying to think of the word. I'm sorry, but like
you said antagonism. Yeah, that's
okay. There's like this increasing antagonism to essentially like being a good person, like for caring for others. That I've noticed in the last 5-6 years, it's just like gotten worse. Like to care for others, like even like that. Like, hey, I don't care. All kids should have free lunch in school, and now that's becoming like almost like such a partisan issue or something. Like people are mad because I'm like,
it's not accidental.
I mean,
that's because they've been fed. I mean, this has been that the media, the right-wing media echo chamber funded by billions, largely from fossil fuel fuckers, that has driven this level of, you know, it was, I mean, even the trans issues, most people just didn't care about it until they started getting fed a steady diet of trans hate. Right? It was not on the radar. It was when gay marriage was no longer working to get elections won to cut taxes for the rich. The rich were like, who's an even more marginalized group? Well, let's go after trans folks. There's less of them, and we can dial up the hate. And that purely created was not a grassroots thing at all. It just started on Fox News and all the other outlets and talk radio, just a steady diet of hate, and it works. It works quite well. Are
you sure that the Republicans don't just really deeply care about women's sports?
I don't know. I ain't never seen Rand Paul at a WNBA game, so he can go fuck himself.
This place isn't that confusing.
Sam, I think you've got the next stage of what Elon Musk is causing to fall out of the sky.
Yeah, so he has his Starlink satellite system. But apparently they've been falling out of the sky in record numbers. So it looks like 120 Starlink satellites have fallen within the past like few months. They replaced their old satellites with newer ones. They usually, their lifespan, it says, is around 500 something days or something. But anyways, what's going on is Starlinks are falling out of the sky at a record number. They're actually falling out faster than they can replace them. And then, like everything else, it's basically causing problems with the environment. When they fall through the atmosphere, obviously they disintegrate. So the debris found aerosols in 600,000 feet above Alaska, which is aluminum ion oxides, which are essentially burning up the ozone layer again. So back, when they had, the treaty they had, what was it called?
Montreal Accord?
Yeah, to protect the ozone. These satellites are essentially burning that up, literally, as they're falling, because they're producing so much of this, not exhaust.
But there's no need to worry, though, because SpaceX says there is no debris, because they just burn up completely. So this is all...
when you burn dangerous materials, why there's nothing to worry about. Like, I don't know if you all saw, there was, with the LA fires, one of the things they just came out was massive amounts of lead was in that smoke, because all the lead pipes and the lead paint in the houses that were burning down. The first few days, it was like 100 times the baseline level of lead in the air. It's just massive, which means there's going to be generational damage from those fires.
It's almost like combustion has like an output.
I'm sure the amount of lead in the air is like comparable to just walking around in 1970s LA.
Well, that's
like before they got rid of the lead in the gasoline. It's just like, beautiful sunset.
I feel fine.
To tie Musk's real motivations around Doge, which is, the bragging that he's not getting paid to do this. Well, one of his upsides is they are remaking Biden's rural internet plan to go over to Starlink, which will be falling out of the sky. But that's just one of the many billions in government contracts that Doge is just scooping up for Musk. And so as the Starlinks are falling, Musk will be making more money off of them.
Yeah, instead of putting physical infrastructure on the ground, they're just giving all the money to a guy who can put it in the sky and keep his satellites going. And he has to throw them up in there, I guess. And that's fun.
Well, he needs more money. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got to get us to Mars.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
He's got to get us to Mars.
So he can be the Emperor God King of Mars.
There was some fucking weird language at the end of that speech, though. Just being an aggressive civilization or whatever the fuck it was. I'm just trying to find it here.
On Mars?
Yeah, I know. When they're talking about going to Mars, we're going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We're going to conquer the vast frontiers of science. Yeah, right. And we're going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
What do they think it's going to be like living up there? It's not going to be fun.
It's going to be living in Arizona with
It's going to be like
nothing.
living in a
except for you have to live under the ground because of the radiation. I mean,
underground.
This will be our greatest era.
Yeah.
With God's help over the next 4 years, we're going to lead this nation even higher, and we're going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth.
Yeah, that's just kind of going in full on. That's the full
answer.
on. Yeah, that's the full on Mussolini.
It's very
fascism.
American.
Yeah. But the one of the questions.
Yeah, it's very American, which means it's very right.
These warriors who shed their blood on the fields and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Blood and soil, right there.
Right there. Yeah. No.
Hey, wait, did he really say that? Did he really say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's already enough iron.
Look,
in
they're
Mars
doing
soil.
Nazi salutes all over the place. I mean, they're really not. There really is no hiding what they are envisioning. It's
no
the race. They're no hiling. There's
no
the
hiding
race
what they're doing.
I swear to devote all my energies and my strength to the savior of our country, Adolf Hitler.
This is the weird paradox of white supremacy. It's okay, we're going to go after DEI, and all of a sudden you have planes falling out of the sky, and it's you are clearly replacing them with white people who are incompetent, but yet they're there, yet they get to do it, yet they get to be the ones that get to do it. And you are both the people in charge, but the least qualified to do it. That's what the paradox of white supremacy is to me. It's we are the ones who are doing it, and we're going to be dominant, and we're the least capable to do it, clearly, I guess, as the evidence is showing. I say as a white guy, I don't know.
You white people are shit.
There is one piece of goodish news on the slowing down the Trump roll towards utter fecklessness and destruction, different kind of fecklessness. The Supreme Court has
rejected Trump's request.
Well, it's not. It's yeah, but it's a little more complicated.
Nice.
But I'll just do it that.
Thanks.
The Supreme Court rejected Trump's request to keep billions in frozen aid the Supreme Court rejected Trump's request to keep billions in foreign aid frozen. It's not a full reversal. It's going back to lower courts, but it has been one of the big questions. What happens when things get to the Supreme Court, which has basically given Trump a free pass on criming, on sharing state secrets with anybody and everybody, on doing whatever, that this is one of the signs that they may actually have, there may be one check or balance left, because Congress under the Republicans is not a check or a balance. The courts, if the Supreme Court actually stands up, that's actually quite important. Now, whether they'll listen to them or not, where it goes. But the U.S. aid is things like, HIV prevention and treatment around the world, food security in areas of starvation. I mean, it's literally millions of lives at stake with this. So the fact that the Supreme Court has said no to Trump even a little bit is a pretty big deal. And I don't know if it makes me optimistic, but it is a glimmer that maybe the Supreme Court won't just hand him the blank check.
Power! We need more power! There's a couple of things, and maybe we could bring it back to the environment a little bit. So obviously he's going to be drill baby drilling. He talked about the energy emergency. He took himself out of the Paris Climate Accord, called the Green New Deal the Green New Scam, even though the Green New Deal never happened. And it's like, first of all, you love scams. Yeah. Like, you do scams all the time. What do you have against this one, which is clearly just not a scam, obviously, because otherwise you would be doing it. But on top of that, he has launched a trade war with Canada, and that includes a 25% tariff on all goods except for oil and gas, which is at 10%. But the thing for me is, like, that's a carbon tax. You are making fossil fuels more expensive. Yeah. Therefore, the demand for them will go down and people will use less of them. They just don't get a rebate or anything.
So okay, here's a question. Since you two are Canadian, how do you feel about all this stuff? Like this weird trade war with you guys? Like, how do you feel as Canadian citizens?
First of all, betrayed. Second of all, kind of scared. Like, everything's going to get super expensive for no reason. We already have a huge cost of living crisis because we never had the correction in 2008 for our housing market. Things just kept going up and up and up and up. Also, just culturally, housing was like a thing that we didn't build, but we thought was precious. And so housing is stupid expensive here. Mm-hmm. And so things are already like hard enough. And this feels like a tactic to just design to strong arm us into a 51st state thing that nobody wants.
They keep calling him. They keep calling Trudeau governor. Like, that's a Republican.
Governor Trudeau.
That's like a Republican talking point. Like, the level of absurdity we've got.
There is another silver lining though, and that's Canadians are really just supporting each other. Like, I don't know. Yeah, everyone across the spectrum they all have something that they can get behind. So
yeah, I've noticed.
Been nice to see that.
Yeah, we like hating the U.S. right now. Yeah, people are like
having
the U.S.
enemy.
Yeah,
I'm glad we can be a unifying force in Canada.
Look, I mean, personally, I like America's a big place, and the United States. You are obviously friends of mine. I have lots of friends who are from the United States. I'm not one of those people who will confuse a people and their government. But it's also, apparently you voted for this. Whether or not it was legitimate is still kind of an open question in my mind.
Well, we know that voter suppression played a key role, even though it was with legal voter suppression, right? Which is keeping particularly black folks from the polls, black and brown folks from the polls. So even if it was legitimate, it was legal voter suppression that made it possible. But and a lot of people, we've built a low information society here, like an extremely low information, like a shockingly low information society. And that's where a lot of the I didn't think he would be coming after vets. Oh, I didn't think he was going to be, coming after me and my Medicaid and my Medicare. Social Security, they fired so many people that a previous director of Social Security said payments might stop in the next 2 to 3 months, which is definitely not what all the old folks voting for Trump thought they were voting for. They just thought they were punishing the people they didn't like.
Yeah, there was a real leopards ate my face era.
Yeah.
Y'all are entering, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing I like about the media lately is that everyone's aware that Elon Musk does too much ketamine.
Yeah, that's just true. I mean, there's so much wrong with Elon Musk. It's hard to really begin. But yes, too much ketamine is definitely one of those things. One of those many, many things.
I've also seen some overviews of Musk's trajectory in the public eye. And it is interesting to go back 8 years and see his public stance on a lot of stuff, and it's just completely opposite of what it is now. But I've seen some breakdowns of how his own personal life instability, he had children, he had breakups, whatever. He's going through stress. And
he's the most divorced man in the world.
Well, but a lot of his kids are not even from partners.
problems.
A lot of them are IVF. I mean, he's just trying to plant seed. He wants to be Genghis fucking Khan.
He just wants an
he's
army.
he's kind of the Johnny Applecum.
Johnny.
But I've seen people, observe that him going through these years of personal strife or whatever, the Republicans or alt-right have taken advantage and groomed him in a certain way. So,
but let's also be clear: he's just a fucking opportunistic motherfucker who is scooping up billions in contracts and saw an opportunity to take over the U.S. government, which he's largely
he's a
done.
Big piece of shit.
So I mean, there's also
here's
he did have a right wing awakening, and apparently his daughter being trans sent him around the loop because I guess that was, as being Johnny Applecum, you want to plant solid male oak trees all over the world or something. But he's also just a corrupt motherfucker who is scooping up billions. Sorry, Sam, I know you have lots.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, just this real quick. So going to that, he went through a lot of personal stuff. The alt-right preyed on it. Yeah, maybe, but also I call bullshit. So I've been divorced and I had a rough custody battle with my ex and all of that. It was one of the hardest times of my life. It led to a lot of mental health issues and stuff. I got out of it. The one thing I didn't do was become a fucking Nazi.
Yes.
None of that made me be well, I think I should hate trans people.
I too have been through divorce. And I also have not become a Nazi in the process.
Yeah. So there's a part of me that's I think, I don't know. He's probably always been a piece of shit. Yeah. Now he's even more enabled. Because the thing with Elon Musk is he wants people to like him. Yeah. And I think in the beginning, him being that liberal, I want to save the environment and I'm the scientist Iron Man genius. People liked that and they did that. And then when people turned on him, the people who liked him were these alt-right pieces of shit. And I think he just wants to be accepted. That's all he wants. And the group that's accepting him now is Nazis. So now he's going to be a fucking Nazi.
I mean,
I think he's just a piece of shit.
The whole PayPal crowd is apartheid tech bros nostalgic for apartheid, and I think he's always been. And I think he wants to be liked and adored and venerated. That's why he wants to be God, Emperor, King of Mars, where he's got his own planet to run. But also, I think he just positions where he's going to get positive feedback in the form of more money. I mean, I think it was all, and so at the beginning being, if you're selling electric cars, you're going after the liberals. But then when he saw the opportunity to take over the U.S. government and just scoop up billions and have AI and run the U.S. government, he just went over to Trump because that's what worked. And that's what narcissists do. They don't, and sociopaths, they don't have core moral standings on anything, right? It's very hard for non-sociopaths, I think, to identify and understand how these people work. That's well said, Sam. I think, that they have no moral core whatsoever. And it's very hard to understand that, I think. I can conceptually wrap my head around it. I can't understand what that's like. And I think that that's exactly what it is. And he goes to what's going to give him the billions, the power, the adulation, all the things that he's craving, whatever that big empty daddy didn't love me hole that these guys have that they can't fill. It's just all to kind of shovel that in.
But Harold, he was bullied as a child, okay? Like, you can't just overlook something like that.
I too was bullied by a child, and yet I did not become a Nazi.
Well, some problems are more resilient than others, Joe.
Well,
Canada will fuck you up. That's the
we will fuck ourselves up to fuck you up.
We will fuck ourselves up to fuck you up.
We will fucking cut our faces off and then put it on your face and be like, look.
We will break our arms and use the shattered bone as a shiv.
We're the fucking knight with no arms in Monty Python, being like, it's just a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound.
We
will bite off your legs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I guess next time we see you, we'll be on the battlefield. So, I mean, that'd be fun to look forward to.
Oh, I'm just saying, 1812, we burned down the White House.
Yeah, I don't know I'm sorry, I don't know about you two, but I'm a really good fucking shot with a gun.
Dude, same.
All right, so me and Hannah will have to snipe each other. It's gonna be great when we're hiding in towers trying to hit each other.
I played a lot of Counter-Strike as a kid, so I don't know. We'll see. It's probably the same.
Yeah. You'll shoot Harold and then go teabag him. Yeah, just like.
Teabag my corpse.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
Undeniable.